Most investors only realize a stock's potential after it explodes. Now, if you've ever kicked yourself for not buying Nvidia before it skyrocketed, you're not alone. But what if there was a way to spot a 10x winner before it takes off?
Impossible.
In this video, we'll break down 5 stocks that check all the right boxes and might just be tomorrow's biggest investment opportunities. And also, there's one filter that most investors forget to use when picking these stocks until it's too late. And we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so how do you actually narrow down a giant list of companies to just 5 that could really take off? Well, it wasn't easy, but here are some key things that I paid attention to, and AI helped me with the whole analysis. First, we stuck with US-based stocks. That means that you're getting companies with clear rules, easy to access info, and less hassle for American investors. No need to worry about, weird accounting tricks or foreign market drama either. Next, I zeroed in on growth. So I looked for companies with a proven track record of growing sales at least 20% a year. But it's not just about sales. I also checked for rising earnings per share and a solid return on equity so that we know that these companies are actually making money, not just spending it. And I also filtered out companies that pay big dividends. And by the way, this was the filter that I mentioned in the intro that I think many investors miss, right? Truth is, if a company's handing out lots of cash to shareholders, it usually means that they're just not reinvesting enough to fuel really big growth. The best 10x stocks are the ones that are pouring money back into their own business to fund new products, research, and their own expansion. But numbers only really tell part of the story. So I also dug into what makes each company special, right? Are they in a booming industry like AI or clean energy? Do they have something that nobody else does, right? Like a unique technology or a killer brand? That's the kind of edge that lets a company dominate and grow really fast. Then I checked if the people running the show, or the C-level executives, have a track record of smart decisions and a clear vision for the future. You really want a team that's already proven they can steer the company through good times, and more importantly, the bad times, because those happen too. And finally, we made sure that these companies are still early enough in their growth journey. They're not tiny startups, but they also haven't fully matured either. So there's still plenty of room for big gains. So after all that careful digging and filtering with AI, which companies actually made the cut? Well, let's jump in with a company that's completely aiming to rewrite the rules of computing as we know it. And that first one is called Ionic. So imagine a world where computers solve problems in seconds that would take today's fastest machines thousands of years. That's the promise behind quantum computing, and Ionic is one of the front runners trying to make it a reality. While most people are still kind of wrapping their heads around AI, quantum computing is already being called the next big tech revolution. Ionic's technology is already being used by big names like Hyundai, Airbus, and Dow, and you can even access their quantum computers through major cloud platforms as well. Now, the company's revenue is still small. It's about $38.5 million in 2024. But Ionic's CEO predicts that sales could hit $1 billion by 2030.
Could it?
Yeah. That would be a staggering leap. And if they pull it off, early investors could see massive, massive gains.
Important caveat. Quantum computing still hasn't proven a near-term commercial killer app. The revenue projections are bold, but speculative.
Yeah, and of course, what CEO wouldn't project huge growth in the near future, right? But beyond that, there's another pretty big catch. Ionic isn't profitable yet, and their net losses actually grew last year. Plus, the entire quantum industry is still in its early days, and there's just really fierce competition from giants like, Microsoft. So while the upside is huge, there's plenty of risk here too. If Ionic can keep pushing the tech forward and start landing bigger commercial deals, it could be a game changer for your portfolio. But if you think that quantum is futuristic, wait until you see how the next company is quietly transforming the way that everyday objects connect and communicate. So next, let's move on to Impinj, which is a company that's making the Internet of Things, or IoT, a reality. Now, you might not see the company's name every day, but their technology is quietly working behind the scenes in places like Macy's, airports, and even Coca-Cola's Freestyle soda machines. So what do they actually do? Well, Impinj is a leader in RAIN RFID technology, which is a fancy way of saying that they make tiny chips and sensors that help track and connect billions of everyday items to the internet. And here's why Impinj really stands out. They currently hold a dominant 85% of market share in their industry, which is absolutely massive.
Hey, that's what she said.
But dominance doesn't guarantee future growth. Remember BlackBerry? Market share can vanish fast if innovation stalls.
Absolutely true. My God, I still remember when the big decision back in the day was to get a BlackBerry or a Nextel so that you could use the long-range walkie-talkie feature that was built in. It's really insane how much technology has changed. Anyway, their platform works for everything from small businesses to massive retailers tracking inventory in real time. And they're not just selling these chips, right? They provide an entire ecosystem, including, software and services, making it really easy for companies to adopt and benefit from the Internet of Things technology. Now, Impinj's, their recent earnings, they have impressed investors as well, with the stock price jumping 14% after a strong quarterly report and optimistic future forecasts. The company is also ramping up production of a new chip, which is expected to boost profit margins even further. Plus, their focus on research and development, it really keeps them ahead of the curve, and their strong balance sheet means that they can keep investing in innovation, which is crucial in this area. Now, this next stock is a growing company that's using artificial intelligence to protect businesses from cyber threats. And that company is SentinelOne. So if you've ever worried about hackers, ransomware, or data breaches, and let's be honest, who hasn't at least worried a little bit about that stuff with their own computer nowadays, then you'll understand why cybersecurity is a massive, fast-growing industry. And SentinelOne, it stands out because they really focus on using AI to detect and stop cyber threats automatically without having, any human intervention. Their software is always learning and adapting, which means that it can catch brand new threats that traditional security systems might miss. And this is a really big deal for businesses, especially as attacks get more sophisticated and more devices get connected to the internet. The company has been growing fast, with revenue up 40% year over year and customer growth to match. SentinelOne's platform is used by thousands of organizations worldwide, ranging from, just small businesses to Fortune 500 giants. They're also expanding into new areas like cloud security and Internet of Things protection, which opens up, even more growth potential as companies move more of their operations online. Analysts expect SentinelOne's earnings per share to grow by over 50% annually in the coming years, and the company's revenue is projected to keep climbing at a double-digit pace. That kind of momentum is rare, to say the least, and it's a big reason why so many investors are really excited about SentinelOne's future. Of course, the cybersecurity space, it's crowded, and the competition is fierce. But with its AI-driven approach, rapid innovation, and a leadership team that's laser-focused on staying ahead of the curve, SentinelOne is in a very strong position to capture a bigger slice of this booming market. Now, from here, let's check out a company that's helping cars drive themselves, because the future of transportation, it might be closer than you think. And by the way, no, this is not Tesla. Now, we've all heard of self-driving cars and advanced driver assistance systems, but you may not know that there's a good chance Mobileye is powering some of the tech behind the scenes. They're a leader in computer vision and AI for vehicles, and their chips and their software are already used by dozens of major car brands worldwide, like BMW, Volkswagen, Ford, Nissan, Porsche, and actually many more. So what makes Mobileye special is their head start. They've been working on this tech for over 2 decades, and their systems are already on the road in over 150 million vehicles globally. That's a huge advantage, because the more data their systems collect, the smarter and safer their technology will become. Now, the numbers, they back up that story as well. So in 2024, Mobileye reported revenue of $2.1 billion, up 13% from the previous year. And they're forecasting even faster growth as more automakers roll out new models with Mobileye's tech inside. Analysts expect the global autonomous vehicle market to grow at 22% annual rate through 2030. And Mobileye is positioned right at the center of this trend. And with the recent damage to Tesla's reputation from all of Elon Musk's political activity, it's possible that Mobileye grows even faster than previously estimated. But Mobileye isn't just about self-driving cars either, right? Their technology is also used for collision avoidance, lane keeping, and traffic sign recognition, which are features that are quickly becoming standard in pretty much all new vehicles. So as regulations push for safer roads and automakers race to add more automation, Mobileye's addressable market, it will keep expanding. And there are risks, of course, right? Competition from big names like Tesla, obviously, and traditional auto giants, plus the regulatory hurdles of self-driving tech. But with their proven track record, deep partnerships, and a mountain of real-world driving data, Mobileye is a strong contender to ride the autonomous wave for years to come. Now, autonomous vehicles, that is a big industry, but the next company here is quietly powering the backbone of AI and data revolution. And next we have Marvell Technology, and that's not to be confused with Captain Marvel, Marvel. I just remember in the movies, that's what they showed. Anyway, you might not see their logo on your phone or laptop, but Marvell's chips are the backbone for everything from cloud computing to 5G networks, even to artificial intelligence. So what exactly does Marvell do? Well, they design and produce high-performance semiconductors, which are effectively the brains that help move, store, and process massive amounts of data quickly and efficiently. Their products are used by big names in cloud services, telecom, and also data centers. Now, Marvell's growth is impressive too. So in 2024, they reported revenues of $5.5 billion, and analysts expect double-digit growth rates to continue as demand for AI, cloud, and 5G keeps exploding. Their chips are in high demand for AI workloads, especially as companies like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, they race to build bigger and faster data centers. But what really sets Marvell apart is their ability to customize their chips for specific clients, meaning they can create exactly what a customer needs. So whether it's for a hyperscale data center or next-gen 5G base station. This flexibility has helped them land major long-term contracts and build strong relationships with tech giants. Of course, the semiconductor industry, it is competitive and it can be cyclical. So there are always going to be risks here. But with their deep expertise, their expanding product lineup, and a front row seat to the biggest trends in tech, Marvell is well positioned to keep growing as the world's appetite for data is just going to keep getting bigger. Now, these 5 tech stocks, they have serious potential. But what if I told you AI has identified 5 crypto stocks with potentially an even bigger upside? Well, in this video right here, you'll see which names are set to skyrocket and why they might just be the next big investment opportunity that you really don't want to miss.